hello/x/, figured this would be the best place to post this. If there's a wildlife board here, then link me to it just in case I am being stupid and this is actually completely explainable. Sorry if this first bit is going to ramble on a bit, but I think it's important to establish things before I jump in. Once the establishment has been done, the green texting can begin. I am a big history buff, 26 years old, originally from Canada. When I finished college, I crossed the border south to go to university. I like guns, so I wanted to get one with more than a 5-round mag, where I studied military history. After I left uni, I decided to go traveling. I started off by visiting Gettysburg, then I crossed the pond to Britain to see some of the WW2 airfields. There's not many of them left, most have been converted into racetracks, tongue sticking out. Then I went to Ukraine to the fortress of Poltava, Great Northern War 1709, before heading south. I was going to visit the site of the charge of the Light Brigade, but I didn't feel like going into Crimea, 'cause violence and shit. Anyway, more recently, and where my story starts, I made my first venture outside of the West when I headed to Vietnam. In Ukraine and other places I went to, I got by using translation programs on my phone, but this time I brought along my uni friend who was a first-generation immigrant from Vietnam. He came to the US age 5, so he speaks very good English, but he also speaks Vietnamese like a native, so he's great to come with me. I find it difficult to pronounce his Vietnamese name, so let's just call him Dave. Too much jingles, tongue sticking out. Anyway, I was planning on doing a bit of a trek into the jungle to find the spot of one of the battles. The Vietnam War didn't work like most other wars with battles being fought over landmarks. The US Army would just drop a bunch of troops off by helicopter to flush out NVAs. More often than not, they found nothing. The reason the US Army rarely found anything was because the NVAs would hide in bunkers if they felt they were outmatched. Me and Dave hoped to get into one of these bunkers, map it out and take pictures. Vietnam is insanely hot, so we set off in October when it was much cooler. Land in Saigon. Fuck your communists. Pick up a rental car, Jeep, and drive for a ways. Dave takes us to the shoddiest parts of the city. Think Detroit or Chicago, but with fewer guns and many more knives, pimps, prostitutes and pickpockets. Says he used to live in an area just like this for the first 5 years of his life until he came to the US. We look from backstreet to backstreet until we find a dealer. Firearms are illegal completely in Vietnam, but there are still some around if you look hard enough. Guy sells us a pair of old surplus 1911s and a few small boxes of .45 ammo. Ideally we'd get a rifle of some kind, but there are limits to what the US military leaves lying around, and we couldn't exactly hide an M16 up our asses. Asks us why the hell we want these, as we don't look like muggers. Dave tells us we're going into the jungle to find an old bunker. Guy laughs at us and tells us we're going to end up speared on an old booby trap. About a day later, we finally get out of farming areas and into the jungle proper. It's still too hot. Fwackring Kenyuk, what do you expect? Dave tells me to grow up. He was never fully on board with the wander into the jungle and hope for the best plan, but came along anyway for a chance to go to his home country again. We had GPS on both our smartphones, pretty accurate stuff, so we could always navigate our way to the nearest settlement or town or whatever. Few days worth of MRE supplies just in case. First day was a bust. Wandered into the jungle. Found nothing. Went back to the Jeep. Fucking tiring, felt so unbelievably dead on my feet by the end. Second day was a bit better. Wandering through the jungle. I sung some Sabaton. Dave kicks. Suddenly, whoosh. Me and Dave both jump to the side. A giant log swings past us. We had triggered an old wartime booby trap. When it stopped swinging, we examined it. It was just a big log on a rope, no spikes or poison or anything. Would have given someone a right fiacking smack though. Yes, this is reckless. Flark off, mom. We didn't find anything else that day, but the fact that we ran into booby traps means that we were on the right track. Third day we went back into the jungle. This time we struck gold, although we also struck turd as well. In the morning, we come across a punji stick trap that had been triggered. Hole in the ground filled with sharpened bamboo, several had been broken off, indicating that a GI had fell in here and been dragged out with 3 or 4 bamboos in his ass. Hear some cracking in the jungle. Look around. Nothing, birds keep chirping. We ignored it and carried on. No more than 10 minutes later, we come across something. It's a big black figure in T position. Well, not exactly, it looked almost like those paintings of Jesus on the cross with his hands slightly above him. Think it's a soldier's corpse that was hung on one of the trees. Suddenly it fucking moves. We both pull sidearms as this thing jumps off into the trees. This was a big fucking figure BTW, it was not a monkey or anything. My first thought was maybe a big silverback gorilla. Dave. The fuck was that? I ask. I have absolutely no idea. Tells me that there is no wildlife in Vietnam that size besides human beings. Gorillas and orangutans and the like are not native to Vietnam. Fogme.jpg. We continue heading further. I occasionally the GPS to make sure we never stray that magic 10 kilometers from human settlement. We make sure to do this so we can always make it to safety before nightfall. We come across a few more triggered booby traps, including a spiked log hanging limply from a tree. There were a few fibers on one of the spikes, presumably from a helmet or something. A few more minutes, and then the thing happens that I came to write about. Suddenly, something hits my hand holding the phone. Fumble for a bit trying to make sure I don't drop my phone with the GPS. Dave, what the hell was that for? Dave doesn't answer. Dave has the 1911 drawn and aimed into the woods. Dave. SHHHH. Someone just threw a rock at us, shut the hell up. He violently SHs me. I pull out my own gun and aim it at where the rock apparently came from. Behind us, we hear some cracking. Turn around, there are several hairy human-sized apes hanging from the trees watching us. They are tall and lanky, more like gibbons than gorillas, but much bigger than gibbons. Rusty-looking fur, much darker than an orangutan but not like any other ape we can think of. Their heads were kinda like orangutans, but with a big jutting out oval chin like a monkey or gorilla. FPOO. One of the creatures spat out something onto the floor and dropped down from the trees. Dave and I don't hesitate to bolt the hell out of there at lightning speed. The apes were right on our tails, pelting us with rocks and stuff. They had absolutely no fear at all, like they'd never seen humans before. Dave aimed his gun back and fired a few pot shots but didn't hit anything. We continued running, adrenaline cancelled out the exhaustion that dogged us all day long. Bark. I shit you not, it was like a dog barking. I tried to take my backpack off to put my phone away but then they were upon us. One of these bastards grabbed my backpack right off my arm. They were really damn strong. Finally, we find our Hail Mary. The thing we were looking for this entire time. I wouldn't have seen it, if not for the fact that the hatch was open. It was the same green as the rest of the jungle, but it was the hatch for an NVA bunker. I shout to Dave to follow me and plunge into the hatch. Dave follows. Close the goddamn door. I yell. He slams it just in time. One of the apes grabs hold of the door and starts pulling, but Dave already threw 3 deadbolts across it. Fuck, I gasped. What the fuck was that? Dave just collapses on the floor. My backpack is gone. No. WEBM. This is a nightmare. Not only did the apes steal my goddamn backpack, they took my phone as well. Dave still has his, both backpack and phone. But I lost my camera. We were going to take pictures of the bunker anyway, but Dave's phone had no charge, It'd been worn down by the last 3 days of hiking as I'd prioritized charging mine whenever we were at the Jeep. So, we were in an NVA bunker, surrounded by monster apes, with only a dead mobile phone, 2 handguns, and a day's worth of MREs. Fuck, I just wanna go home. Dave complained. I'm good at physics, not running from goddamn mind apes. What apes? The hell has mind got to do with it? I dunno, I guess it sticks. We decide to explore the bunker in the meantime. The entrance is green metal, like a nuclear silo. After 3 meters though, the metal ends. It's an earthen tunnel. I round a corner and find a drawing table. There's a map on it. Circled in red is presumably the bunker with some Vietnamese text on it. In the corner is a compass. To the north is a hill with another red circle and some Vietnamese text. Bring Dave over to read it out. First circle is indeed the bunker. Circle to the north reads gorillas. We just went past that hill. Bark. Me and Dave both wheel around, guns in hand. A mind ape is just standing there staring at us. We stand there, just staring at each other for a few seconds. I shout "Fue kekke." The mind ape starts growling and raising its arms. Me and Dave both start unloading our magazine on it. All this in about 2 seconds. The ape goes down. The gunfire from the unsuppressed .45s without ear protection is fucking deafening. They're in the bunker. Dave spits out. Well, what do we do? I shove another magazine into my gun. Decide that we can't make a run for it. There's no towns or anything around to get to. We were 6 kilometers from the Jeep the last time I checked the GPS. Judging by the map, there are a ton of mind apes in the area. We can't retreat, and if we stay here we can't shoot. So let's fix bayonets, we'll have the advantage of going downhill. Dave tells me to shut up. He's right. The mind apes are so utterly fearless, the gunshots don't stop them, though it scares us. Next time, gonna stick to populated areas. If there is a next time. Anon, next time you want to go on one of your research trips, I am staying behind. Dave seems to share my sentiment. Brickwarididayujata and grenade.wave. Dave finds a hand grenade in a box. Don't you dare, I tell him. For the apes, he says. We go back to the map, suddenly I spot something. Greater than 1948. Wait, what? Jiv. Vietnam War didn't start until the 1960s. Dave says it's a Vietnamese bunker for fighting the French. Just realized that we were both idiots for looking for NVA bunkers this far south. Damn lucky we found this pre-split bunker. Anyway, we can't stay here forever, more mind apes will turn up. Decide to make a stand. Plan is as follows. Open bunker door. Throw grenade at mind apes. If they don't disperse or die, charge them with 1911s. They're not immortal. We hope to break through their line and run back to the Jeep. 6 km. Or at least far enough that the mind apes don't pursue us. No way we run as far as the truck. Wait a moment. Hold on, Dave wants to say something. If this is an old military bunker, maybe there are some better guns in here. Fuckedhatsrig.mp3. We search the bunker. There are 3 main tunnels to go down. Plus the one we came in. 2 lead to closed doors, but 1 leads to an armory of sorts. Ad hoc boxes of ammo everywhere. In the corner there's a pile of French rifles. I'm no /K/Amando, but a gun's a gun, so whatever. Bayonets. Hell yeah. Load up the rifle with a magazine. Dave also takes one. As we turn around to leave, another goddamn mind ape at the door. Fire without hesitation. Fung me, this weapon kicks. Ape goes down in 1 shot. Nice shit. I need to get more into guns, this was fucking cool. It's time for our stand. We open the door. Hand on the grenade spoon. There's not a single ape to be found. Step out with rifle shouldered. Birds are chirping. A little monkey on the nearby tree. Bark. We whirl around. We couldn't have timed our escape more perfectly. The mined apes were now behind us. They had flanked around and got into one of the other entrances. Dave pulls the pin and throws the grenade into the hole. We both break to run. Don't bother shooting at the apes. Boom. Grenade explodes in the tunnel. After running for a minute, it becomes clear that the apes are either dead or trapped in the bunker. Find my phone on the floor from where I'd dropped it. Not risking my life to go back and take a picture of anything. We double time it back to the Jeep. By the time we get there, it's nighttime. So tired. Everything hurts. I found a cut in my shoulder where presumably some shrapnel from the grenade hit me. We drove back to the nearest village. Nearly crash along the way several times. When we got there, we didn't tell the locals anything. Bought a lodging in a room for a night and disappeared back to Saigon the next day. That was the experience of a lifetime, and it'll be the only one because I am never leaving populated areas again in my life. I'll stick to roller coasters to get my adrenaline fix. What the hell did I see out there /x/? There are no gorillas or orangutans in Vietnam. Biggest monkey can sit on my arm.
They were rock apes, up.